Parliament's Public Works and Infrastructure Portfolio Committee has raised questions about how the state is managing its property portfolio. According to the committee, 500 government leases are month-to-month contracts, and several government assets, such as, for example, the Telkom Towers, which is supposed to be the headquarters of the South African Police Services, are severely underutilized. Well, for more on this, we're joined by the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure, Phiri. Carol, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. One would assume that some form of an audit has been conducted of all government leases and contracts of leasing buildings from private owners. What are some of the key findings there? One which I just stated, which is that around 500 government leasing contracts are on a month-to-month basis. How many of these buildings or these leases could otherwise have been avoided if the buildings, if government's portfolio, property portfolio has been better taken care of?
And thank you for having me tonight. And I want to greet South Africans, your viewers in particular. Indeed, we've got more than 5,000 or 500 leases that are made by Public Works. But to be honest, it is because of the negligence of officials and the department entirely. If they could have maintained those buildings and had a proper plan to maintain all the government precincts, we're not going to have this huge number of leases that we are experiencing today. So the issue is that PMTE, together with the department, they could not do their work sufficiently. And now we are left with the month-to-month leases that we have just outlined, more than 500 buildings of them. But while you still have more buildings that are underutilized, as you indicated, just like your Telkom Towers, your Public Works House, and other buildings, and in particular in KZN, you still have MTN building. So those are the challenges that we faced with. And Parliament was not happy, impressed as a portfolio committee that we must oversee this portfolio. We're not happy, and we've expressed that to say, you know, they need to come up with a better strategy to try and root out the challenge that we have.
Yeah. Well, what can be done to ensure that, well, very clearly, that taxpayers' money aren't wasted on leasing buildings that otherwise is not necessary?
You know, for a starter, with what they presented to us yesterday, they're saying they need for around 4.1 billion to try and revamp the 4 buildings that they've outlined. It's just the 4.1 billion. We're only talking about 4 buildings, which include the Telkom Towers, the CGO, and Public Works House, which is just a drop of those buildings that are underutilized. Then they even gave us a difference if they had to rebuild or build the new buildings. It gives them about 10.9 billion approximately. But to be honest, it does not even give us hope. Their plan is just to say we can bring in the triple Ps and we give them a lease of 20 years where they agree to say after 20 years you'll take back the building to government, which we don't think it's going to be an issue that will resolve the problem. The issue that we need to say to South African, we have a serious challenge. Public Works is unable to cater for its client department. It's unable to also cater for its public servants' housing. So it is a serious challenge. The last part that we engaged, and it was not a good sign, it felt like it's a personal attack. We also find out that even the minister himself, when he's in Gauteng, does not have a government house. He only goes to hotels, meaning public funds are more utilized, just like spending in private property leasing on a month-to-month. So we have a serious challenge that we are saying as a oversight, we are going to make sure and try to get at the bottom of the matter, and let's say PMTE must be viable. This entity of PMTE, since we've been in the 7th administration, it has never brought a report that is proper, that is so satisfactory. Just like yesterday, those who are in REMS, real estate entities, they are unable to even tell us about the leases that have been brought to them, how many were approved, even though we discourage the issue of leases. But we have a serious crisis, and client department needs to be housed. If they can't give them a proper lease rather than a month to month. A month to month is more expensive than when they have a proper contract, be it a 2-year.
What has been the rationale? What was the rationale for why, at least what was the response from the minister about why some of these leases are month to month? As you say, there is a cost implication in it being a month to month contract rather than a fixed term contract.
Unfortunately, it was not part of our portfolio yesterday. All the executives, they were not there. But what we have got is that they've made arrangement. Yes, as an executive, he has the authority and the responsibility to overlook on those leases. How are they done and how are they scheduled? What we have been told is that they are stuck in his office as the minister. He can't approve or give them why are the reasons he's not approving. Or most of the client department, I've got a number of emails from the client department who are complaining that we are not housed and we need these leases to be approved. But the minister says, I'm still consulting. So he has number of chunk of lease agreement that he must sign with the private investors.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Carol Phiri is the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure.